Good morning, San Carlos. So we are off to breakfast as we always do on day 7 of our uh, time in San Carlos. And we did do that wonderful interview with Cal. And I have a few more lined up. So anyone who was very interested in all of that, good morning, Mom. I'm going to come see you after breakfast. Um, Feel free to continue to follow the page. You'll see that we are full of adventures planned for the next week. So that should be very good. And of course, if you have any questions, we'd love to hear them. Um, I did get some questions that were quite interesting on the cow um, posting. Some of them were the same I had to suffer with the Western media when I was back home and doing events on a political thing. Because I don't adhere to a lot of the Western philosophies at all. In fact, um, I don't even consider myself that much of a Westerner anymore because I'm so much different. It's like where people say that the left left them, like Bill Maher or whatever. I felt, and the left me. I mean, I'm not into a lot of what's over there anymore, and I don't agree with pretty much any of it. The idea that the government can tell you so much about your life. If I wanted that, I would have went and lived in the USSR as a young man, or moved to communist China. Didn't want that. So now that we're becoming that, of course, I'm out, right? I definitely don't want my kid to grow up with that. How people over there are so cool with how it's gotten that they don't seem to resist really at all. The trucker convoy, which, yes, people who know me from the old channel, yes, that's me. I'm pretty famous. I hate to say that on this channel because I don't really want the dirt from that channel rubbing off on this channel. But there's nothing wrong with having outspoken opinions. People, they'll tell you that because they want you to shut up. They want you to conform. That's not my way. Never will be. Never has been. The other question, and this one came actually even from Cal himself, so I don't mind answering it, is um, on my trip to Thailand the second time, I was given a gift from someone ridiculously important over there. And it wasn't just they picked me up because I was a bald white man in the crowd. There were many other bald white men in the crowd. It was a toury thing. I was singled out as, hey, and not that the person knew me or anything like that. The monks don't really talk to people at all, really. So it was like, hey, you. And so I went, and I thought I was in trouble. I had touched something, done something. It turned out just he wanted to give me something. So he pulled something off his own hand, a small ring, and he put it on my hand. And I wore it religiously for 6 years in the West until the Western media started hating on me about it because there's a large illiteracy over in the West about anything in the Eastern cultures, Eastern history, Eastern traditions. Um, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I understand that because they don't teach it in schools. But they'll teach a lot of propaganda on other topics. So it's just one of those things where even me, when I very first saw the gift, was like, ooh, that, and I did my own research, right? I talked to some of the people on the way out, and blah blah blah, and so, and I have Indian friends, like from India, who recognize it almost right away, and they, don't have any problem with it. So it's one of those things where, oh, I'm being told I have to order, so I will tie this up, but just saying that um, lots of things have been copied from the East because the East is such an old culture, an old group of religions by modern people who weren't necessarily the most desirable. And so the West has limited intelligence, I guess I'll say, about these things. And so they jump to conclusions. Um, I guess the way I can answer those is I have so many friends all over the world that are not similar to me. They're not Western Canadians. I have a half Filipino baby. My other 5 kids are half Italian. It just makes no sense to try and smear me with a label of being intolerant. I'm definitely not. I'm intolerant of Western tolerance that's really not tolerance. It's even more intolerant than the old-fashioned intolerance. So, um, yeah, that's sort of where I stand on that topic. I hope I don't lose any subscribers about it, but in the same sense, I do sleep comfortably every night. That I have a comfortable bed. Wink. Um, Even with being over here, yeah, in the beginning I worried a bit about stuff, but that was more about my own personal family. I mean, I've already given up worrying about Canada. I don't even think Canada exists anymore. Like, I'm of the mindset, hurry, Mr. Trump, take us over. But at the same time, then I worry about who comes after Trump and how happy it's going to get then. Will it be another person who's a globalist? I like Vance. He seems okay on paper, but I know he's been backed financially by a lot of very sketchy people that very well may have their own agenda, kind of like the right-wing Soros. And we don't need that either, right? And is the answer an AI government like what China's probably about to have? I don't know. But at least a machine can't be compromised as easily. It doesn't have its own desires to be greedy and line its bank accounts and that. So it doesn't make laws for the stock market as it does trades in it. I mean, there's just so much issue with how the West is. So when they complain about here being corrupt, or they complain, oh, it's a dangerous place, it's not. It's not dangerous at all. And the corruption here you don't feel on an everyday level like you do back home. I don't even notice it. Maybe it's still a foreigner, but I just don't notice it. I never noticed it in Thailand because I get people hating on Thailand. I think the monarchy is the answer. Had Chuck been a decent actual ruler, great. Put him on our money. Let's help him. Like, he should be controlling the mounties. It's called the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And those should all be under the control of the Governor General in Canada, who is the King or Queen's representative. But for me, as soon as Elizabeth died, I had zero interest in the British monarchy, and they don't do anything for Canada. And the fact that the RCMP are controlled by the Prime Minister allow him to commit a whole bunch of crimes whenever he wants. You just dismiss him, sweep him under the rug, steal billions and billions of dollars for his friends, his mom even, like millions of dollars in speaking fees. Who the F is his mom? Nobody. So why are we paying her millions of dollars to jibber jabber at some stupid seminar, right? But no one looks into this because the government in Canada controls the police. That's simple. Every time I see police guarding Carney or soldiers there doing stuff like that, I say to myself, what the hell are you traitors doing? How are you letting these corrupt people do what they're doing to our country and you say you're supposed to be there as a guard? Well, I believe in the old anthem that we stand on guard for thee, right? And so no one's really willing to make that sacrifice. I mean, they did their job at shutting up the resistance with the convoy. And now they're throwing 8-year sentences at some woman and some dude who organized it. I won't say their names, so I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. But you can Google all that yourself. And you know what really worked? The only thing that worked, even them bouncy castles, loud horns, downtown, that didn't really work. It was fun, sure. What worked was when they barricaded the borders to the States, when they started affecting trade, when you start touching their pocketbooks. Just like they're not going to care about, the home invasions and the danger to normal citizens. Here in the Philippines, if you break into someone's house, they're allowed to legally shoot you right in the head, drag your body to the street, and leave you there. No crime. F around and find out. Stay out of my house. We don't have that privilege in Canada. Many states don't have that privilege. We're supposed to hope that this wonderful government with its, police that care about us are going to come and save our day. That doesn't happen. That's why there's so many murders all over the place. And it's always the poor people dying. Occasionally you get the odd rich person here or there, but then they don't really investigate those. Those get swept under the rug too. Which of course to me, someone who's basically able to articulate that, hey, that's not right and something's up. They obviously didn't play ball anymore with whatever the current group in power wanted, and so they were removed. With that really rich couple in Toronto about 4 or 5 years back. It's just one of these things where, and there's lots of them in the States, I just don't know them all because I don't care about that kind of news. The way I see it is when a rich person dies, they obviously didn't choose to, put some safeguards in place. Because if you're rich, you can afford security. Isn't that what they tell us in the States? If you want to be safe, just buy yourself some security guards, like every other government official. You don't have to do that here. The government here keeps pretty much everyone safe. Children can walk around at any time of the day. They go to stores on their own. We can't even let our kids go play in the backyard unless there's a 12-foot tall fence, because some creepy butt pedo might jump over the fence and steal them. So it is what it is. I mean, people from the West can hate on my opinions. They can hate on my philosophies. I know I'm right. I was so right that they had to destroy my old channel at COVID. And why? Because I told people not to do that thing, that whole thing with the boosters and the that's and the this and the that's. And lo and behold, I was right. Me and my beautiful little Dora and Adora's mama, we're among the 1 to 5% per country that were smart enough to say, nah, not going to do it. You're not going to be able to pressure me. I own my own businesses. They couldn't force me to do anything. And none of my kids in Canada were ever poked either in that way. Hey, polio and meningitis and all of those ones, by all means, get those ones. Those ones are real and those ones are tested and those ones are important. But to blindly just listen to the people who have lied to us regularly for their entire stay. You go back 100 years and the government was lying to people. Like, the government does not look out for you in North America. They look out for themselves, and unfortunately in Canada, now the global Chinese interests. And why is Mr. T in the States, the orange man bad, doing what he's doing? Because he's trying to save us. The reality is you're flooded with drugs. You're flooded with people who don't give a care about you, who have come here with third world ideas and act like thugs, take over neighborhoods, harass people. There was a movie done in the 1980s, with a great actor called Charles Bronson. He's dead now, rest in peace. He was an amazing actor. I watched almost all his movies, he's great. Called Death Wish 4. Now, most people, especially geeks, only know that because it's got the beautiful Counselor Troy in a very, let's say, controversial scene, where you get to see a whole lot of things that you don't get to see anywhere else. And that being said, that's really the only reason why geeks know of it. But the reason why I reference it today is because it's a story of how a neighborhood was taken over by thugs and that people were too afraid. Well, the neighborhood now is all of Canada. And other than 1 or 2 premiers stepping up here and there, in words only, they haven't done any actual deeds. Just change things. Like, it's very easy. They have control over their jurisdiction to make laws saying, we're not funding this, we're not funding that, these people can't have licenses, these people cannot live here. So you know what? Then let the lefty provinces that want to cater to that craziness go bankrupt, not just in money, but in safety, by continuing to fund that and continuing to be part of the problem. I was just not going to hold my breath, hoping that it would change. So, and look, I made the right decision. Toodles. Like, follow, and subscribe if you want to hear more controversial things like this that nobody over there wants to agree with. When so many millions do, they're just a silent majority. And like I said, I would love it if some of you folks who do agree, even if you got to do it from a blank account or a dummy account, speak up. Because right now the way it's looking is that the haters are winning and that, he's bad, he's a bad guy. Nah. If I was a bad guy, I wouldn't be here. Maybe I'd be there running my own negative empire, but I spent my entire adult life just being a normal business guy, tolerating the crap, doing the political things on the seasons, and it didn't come to nothing. And a lot of my policies that we used to advocate for, if you really have the way back web and you can throw up an onion router, you can find our old pages, you can find our old YouTube channel, at least clips of it. 1 second, folks. Anyways, I'll let you go. This is long enough. Thanks. Like, I hope. Follow, I hope. Subscribe, I hope. And hit that bell so you'll hear when I talk again. Thanks, folks.
Tapa.